marketing programs, the relationships with the businesses. That is going to be the big investments. But that's also things that are being done anyway as parts of programs. So it's really just adding some value at that level.
Right, next, other questions? Oh, I think everyone's starting to get fading fast. Lindy, if you were kicking this off again, what would you do differently?
Good question. That's a really good question. Can I start by saying we have learned so much? I mean, it's so hard to be wise in retrospect. Thank you. It's been incredible. It's been incredible because, really honestly, it was a really great concept that CCI, and in particular Peter Higgs, had and still has. But it was a dog's breakfast, to be honest with you. And what we had to do was give it enormous shape, and Lou Jury has been absolutely critical to giving it that shape, because Peter's passion is very similar to mine. I'm sure you have many passions, but this one we share, in that we've got to put a value on creative industries. It is an industry that is enormously valuable, but is completely devalued. Completely devalued. And creative industries is economic, it's not arts. You invest in arts and culture, you'll get arts and cultural outcome. If you invest in creative industries, you'll get number one economic, number two cultural. So if you can't prove the economic, if you can't give evidence to the economic, it's not very effective creative industries activity or policy, is it? So I'm skirting around the question, I'll get there, zoom in. So what we had to do, we probably wouldn't do anything differently, because we had to go through it, experiential. We had to actually experience it, because it is the first of its kind in the world. It is a creative process in itself, ironically, because there is no template to build it. Yeah. And it's like learning. You know what I describe learning as being in a black room, the dark, you can't see the light, you just have to work your way out. That's what learning is. You don't know what you don't know. That is the creative process. And you should never feel anxious about that. You've got to accept the anxiety that goes with that creative process. So we're building something that's enormously creative, that doesn't have a template. We're building it for the very first time. So I can only really speak about the lessons. So the lessons are, if Peter's got a great concept, but it couldn't take shape, it needed shape. And it needed Lou Jury to bring the technical infrastructure to make it incredibly seductive and palatable online, on screen. It's so delightful and easy to use, the survey. Just as he described, you can get out, go away, have a cup of coffee, come back. What survey does that? It tells you, it's got a lot of inbuilt helpful things. Our businesses love it. They don't find it a pain in the neck. At the same time, we've also learned that the selling is really important. Now, I'm really lucky to have the very talented Grant Power, who's program managing this for Dee. He's in the mustard jumper back there. And he has creative industries background. He gets the businesses. He's the smoothest talker. He's so smooth. You buy anything from him. And the industry, the businesses love it. I mean, because inevitably he'll ring in, oh, I'm too busy. What's this all about? It's really irritating. And he'll just calm them down and take them through it, and he's got it. So just to summarise, a very long-winded response, I'm sorry. We couldn't have done anything differently, Terry, because we didn't know what we didn't know. So we had to build it from the basis. Now we know what we know. The team is incredibly important. Peter continues to be really important, but to combine with the OESR. It's unfair to have all that stress on Peter in terms of statistical validity. And what I said before, that's our weakness. We've got to get stronger now, and I feel confident about that. So OESR is really important to the team, working with Peter. Lou's essential, but the marketing and the selling, which the reality is you have to do one-on-one, and once you get them in, Peter's right, it is a drug, they are addicted. They just want to key information because they want to know how they're doing. They're addicted to how they're doing their performance reports, and that's really clever.
Now,
thank you for your patience with me.
No, we've got another question over here on the side.
Really quickly, I'm just a little bit surprised, given all of the work that's been done within the Centre on open content licensing and open innovation, that with this fantastic piece of software and piece of research that's really got the potential to have an impact for researchers who are interested in the sort of work that I'm doing. Why are we immediately talking about ways to apply a closed license and to make money out of it using a really old-fashioned copyright industry type business model?
What a fabulous question, and I'm going to throw it to Stuart.
Can I use it for free?
Well, I'll have an additional question to answer that question.
It is for free, by the way.
No, it is a very good question. It's free to the businesses that benefit from it. It is not free to government, and it's not free to the CCI, and it's not free to government. We put $200,000 a year into this in the centre. The government, in 2 different stages, put about $100,000 cash and a significant amount of time through the work that Grant and Lindy and the team.
A total of around 350 grand.
Yeah. So it's not an inexpensive project. And if you can tell me how this project stays afloat when my money runs out in 2013, or when the government's money runs out in 2012, then, and that is, you give me a business model between now and June 2012, and I'll listen to it.
But why not set it free? So you've built this on open software. Why not just make the code available? Say this is a tool, it's available, and if our project dies, it dies. But if other researchers want to pick up this code and pick up this technology and do something with it, or continue innovating using work we've started, why not allow that to happen beyond the life of our centre?
Because the people who are now benefiting from it, that is the Queensland Creative Industries, and the government, which are also the research that's been generated from it, could all, if there was no replacement of that cash basis, would all simply stop. It may go somewhere else and someone else may pick it up. But that doesn't secure for us a viability or a sustainability beyond June 2012. So, I mean, I just reiterate the same question. What you're saying is, disperse it to the 4 wins and hope for the best. That's not a business model for the continuation of this project.
And it's also, I mean, the other element, without wanting to defend anything but open systems, is that it's not just a standalone tool. This is based on relationships, so it's the actual content that creates the value. The tool is the facilitator. Would that be right for you?
It's a really good point, Stuart. Can I just add to that? The business, whilst I love your question, you're obviously a very clever cookie, a critical thinker. The businesses would immediately stop. They wouldn't want to go down. Why? Because they wouldn't trust.
I'm not talking about making the service available for free. I'm talking about making the code and the tool available for free. So if the CCI or PDT want to continue to provide this service to businesses, then it can continue to do that. So if, for example, some researchers at Nesta or at Perfect College want to pick up the tool and start using it and changing it and applying it to new context.
One of the very early concepts that we had for where this benchmark could go is once we've gone through a couple of cycles of development, as an international foundation or a trust or cooperative, where you actually have the participation of